Kirby copy abilities. Who doesn't love them? This is Will from 8-bit with the top 20 Kirby copy abilities. In Kirby games, now you can swallow your enemies and steal their abilities. And that's pretty fun. You can see an enemy use an epic move, and then eat them, and then you can use the epic move. They not only made the Kirby series much more fun, but they completely changed the purpose of the game. In Kirby's Dream Land, the purpose was purely to get from one side of the level to the other. After Kirby's adventure, the purpose was just to have a groovy fun time, which allowed the player to take more notice of the colourful visuals and cheery, catchy music. Kirby's Fun Pack, or Kirby Superstar as you may know it, made the copy abilities much better by giving each one multiple moves, giving even more room for messing around. Kirby 64 may not have many copy abilities, but the ones it does have can be fused with any other to make a whole new ability. The Super Smash Bros. Series lets you swallow any character and take their B move. It was pretty cool seeing Kirby pull off a Falcon punch. Kirby games are incredibly easy, so you never need to use the copy abilities, except in certain optional puzzles. The copy abilities are mainly just there, so you can play around with them. But which are the best abilities? Which are the most fun to mess around with? Which give the players the most entertainment? Which ones look the coolest? Could some nice guy arrange them into a top 20, and then write about them, and then make it into a YouTube video? Yes. Yes, I can. This is the top 20 Kirby copy abilities, based on how fun they are to play around with, if they look cool, and if they're useful for making the games even easier. I'm including the Kirby 64 fusions and Smash Bros abilities, but not things like Invincible Candy or Star Rod, as you're not stealing any enemy to get that. The Mouse Attack and 64 fusions are included because they originally came from enemies. So, shall we begin? You know how we just said that it was cool seeing Kirby pull off a Falcon punch? Well, it was, and still is. Captain Falcon Kirby allows this to happen. Kirby sure does it a lot cuter than Captain Falcon, with his high-pitched squeal and his cute helmet. This ability is only at number 20 because you get over the coolness and the cuteness quickly, and Kirby's Captain Falcon punch is so weak, if you want to stand a chance of winning, you'll almost immediately drop it. Fire, with its large range of very powerful moves. Some of you may be surprised to see Fire so low. This is mainly because I don't find many of Fire's moves very fun to use, that is, with the exception of the Fireball type move. With Fire, you can burn things, obviously, which can solve some puzzles, such as the incredibly fun cannon puzzles, or you could just burn enemies to death, which is horribly funny to watch. Kirby Mouse Attack stepped it up a bit by having burnable scenery, so that was pretty fun. Fire has more than earned a number 19 place. Why is Sleep a great copy ability? Because it's absolutely useless. Gaining the Sleep ability from one of the adorable Noddies will let Kirby get out his nightcap, which is adorable in itself, and have a snooze on the battlefield. Pointless? Yes. Epic? Yes. In fact, it's amazing that Sleep ability has gotten into so many of his games. Kirby Mouse Attack, or Squeak Squad, ruined this a little by making it heal you and thereby making it not completely useless, which kind of ruins the purpose of Sleep. Parasail was one of the very first abilities you could use, and is still one of the best. You can glide, you can kill people, and then you can go back to gliding. Kirby's life could not be any sweeter. I don't know about anyone else, but I've always found killing with the Parasail ability immensely satisfying. Also, just how different the two uses of Parasail are make this a very unique ability. Kirby has a lot of moves that kill every enemy on the screen. There's Crash, Cook, Paint, and Mike. Which gains the number 16 spot? Well, Mike can be used 3 times, and Crash looks like the most badass thing made by anyone ever. I'm gonna have to go with Cook. With Cook, Kirby gets out a giant cooking pot and throws every enemy on the screen into it. Then, after a hefty lot of stirring, they are balled up and made into maximum tomatoes. You can tell that he's a pro because he wears a professional chef hat. Kirby doesn't mess around. This move also makes an appearance as Kirby's final smash in Brawl. Useful, awesome, and so fun to use. What's not to love? Remember how I didn't actually say that Cook was my favourite move to kill everyone on the screen? My favourite would actually be Paintability. With Paintability you paint all the enemies to death. But what makes Paint better than Cook is how you can play around with it more. Two of the bosses in Kirby's Fun Pack, or Superstar, are affected by this ability. Firstly, Chameleon Arm is made visible, which helps a lot in the battle. Secondly, Heavy Lobster can be painted a different colour, which makes him very angry. Finding these changes is very fun and rewarding, which gives Paintability a number 15 spot. Ever wanted to summon the power of a horrible natural disaster? Tornado ability. You can do that. Obviously, tornado ability is great, if not only because you become a tornado. When you use tornado, you start whizzing around the screen at high speeds. In all the games it appears in, you can completely destroy all enemies and bosses, but a special mention goes to Mouse Attack. With this ability, any boss, including Dark Nebula, can be annihilated in seconds. Triple Star, more like not a very good ability, what like to be used and stuff star. I'm not very good at playing on words. Beam ability was the very first ability you could get, making it very iconic for the series. In that very first encounter with Waddle-Doo, you discovered that you could absorb his laser powers. What made this scene even more cool is that if you played Kirby's Dream Land, you'd have already seen the Waddle-Doos, and know about their abilities to do that crazy laser move. Then when you encounter him in Kirby's Adventure, you can use that move yourself. Beam is also one of the most used abilities, appearing in most of the Puffballs games. Finally, this ability is epic in Kirby's Fun Pack. You can do all sorts of strange energy ball moves as well, that make you wonder further, what even is Beam anyway? Rob Kirby really shouldn't be up this high. I can confirm that this is the last ability on the list purely because of looks. In terms of moves, the only one it can do is Rob's forward laser, one of the worst character's worst moves. But look at how funny Rob Kirby looks. Whenever I see this, I immediately crack up. The wide, open-eyed goggles and Kirby's emotive face. He looks a bit confused, a little bit angry, and a little bit like he's not paying attention. Then there's the button on top of his head that seems to only be there for comedic purposes. Oh, Rob Kirby, we love you so. Every single one of Kirby 64's coffee transformations is, in my eyes, fantastic. They're all fun to use, they're mostly extremely overpowered, and they all have pretty imaginative concepts. However, to make the top 20, and especially this high, it has to be something more. It could have really creepy eyes, a hilarious concept, be really useful, and generally fun to use. Exploding Snowman ticks all the criteria then. Mixing Ice and Bomb allows you to turn into a snowman. You can walk around, jump around, and it's all pretty swell. Then you can explode. Yes, now Kirby turns into a suicide bomber snowman with deathly piercing eyes. Is that enough to get it on the list? Yes, I think so. UFO, need I say more? UFO is brilliantly fun to use, is a pretty cool concept, and just is great. One of the rarest abilities you can get in any Kirby game, thanks to there being hardly any UFO monsters, and the ones that they are being hard to get. UFO is always a treat. You can fire lasers, do the beam move, and fly around. I haven't really got that much else to say about UFO. It's just really great and fun to use. Sometimes you just need to relieve some stress. Kirby games are a great way to do this because they're so easy and you can mash up enemies in seconds. One of the best abilities for relieving stress, Suplex just lets you throw minions around without a care in the world. You can throw in all directions and even use a variety of wrestling moves. I realise that backdrop and throw abilities are pretty much exactly the same, but from what I've played, Suplex is my favourite. It also has a cooler name. So satisfying to use, and at the same time, makes you feel like a total badass, mashing up dem foes. The Smash Bros. Version of Kirby has a lot more firepower than Kirby in his games. Oh, what's this? The Master Hand is a mini-boss in the Amazing Mirror. That's pretty cool. I wonder what ability I get from him. Smash ability essentially gives you the entire of Kirby's moveset from the Smash Bros. Series. You'll soon realise it's just a recompilation of other abilities, but I think it's more than that. It's better than that. Because the ability is immediately familiar, you can then try out your tactics in the Smash games, but in a Kirby game. The only downside is that you can only get the ability once, but it's still incredibly fun to use while you do have it. Bomb ability. After swallowing a Poppy Bro Junior or Senior, you can pick up and throw bombs at will. Throwing bombs has smooth controls, you can throw them in many directions, and the bombs do satisfying amounts of damage. But Bomb isn't on this list. Why? Because Thunder Bomb kicks its ass. In Mouse Attack, there are various ability combinations that you can mix together. These are all elemental fusions with Bomb and Sword. While I felt that the Sword fusions ruined the simplicity that made Sword great, the Bomb fusions really worked. While Ice Bomb was fun, Thunder Bomb is much better. It looks cooler, it's more powerful, I think, and it can create sparks on the floor. Thunder Bomb kicks ass. Speaking of Sword ability is one of the truly great copy abilities for a number of reasons. Firstly, the amount of moves you can perform while using Sword is very impressive, and all the moves you can use feel satisfying and look cool. The Zelda reference is a nice touch, what with the green hat and the blue-handled sword. Meta Knight fights that require you to pick up Sword ability before facing him are also excellent. Pure sword-on-sword dueling against the best character in the series. Sword ability is powerful and just brilliant. The best abilities are ones that never get old and never get boring. So naturally a lot of the abilities nearer the top of this list will be ones that have a lot of potential for messing around with. Enter Laser. With Laser you wear a hat that fires lasers at will. You can kill enemies at long range with it, and that's kind of fun. Oh, who am I kidding, it's like really fun. But where Laser ability gets amazing is with the laser reflecting walls. There are some puzzles to be solved by bouncing lasers around that give you rewards and treasures, but the real, most fun thing to do with Laser ability is finding fun ways to kill enemies. You can bounce a laser backwards to hit them in the back, hit them from underneath, or from above, and it never gets old. A fun thing to do with games after you've beaten them a few times is the art of speedrunning, trying to beat the game as quickly as possible in inventive new ways. Then wheel ability must be a speedrunner's dream. It lets you go straight through any foe standing in your way, and lets you go at incredible speeds. Even when you're not speedrunning, wheel is fun to use. Some levels with wheel enemies in them are specifically designed so that you can go straight through them at incredible speeds, evading lava or giant rocks. Wheel is so fun to just zoom about with, and although it is tough to master, it's so fun when you do. You'd be lying if you tried to deny that you had a massive grin on your face the first time you fused the Ice and Spark abilities in Kirby 64. I'm talking about Refrigerator. It's just hilarious. You spit food out that kills anything in its way, and then you can eat the food to heal yourself. It's both offensive and defensive. I don't know why, but I just love killing bosses with this thing. It's so fun. You could argue that Refrigerator isn't nearly useful or cool enough to start on this list. I just say, if it can make me laugh, give me food, and slaughter those around me, it can't be all bad. Hal could have just made a generic move spurting out ice cubes and sparks, but they didn't. They made Refrigerator. You can tell that now we're really getting into the magnificent abilities when I say that at number 2 we've got Hammer. Hammer's been with Kirby since Kirby's Adventure, and it is to King Dedede as Sword is to Meta Knight. Waving around a massive ass hammer was always going to be fun, but you never knew just how fun until you tried it out for yourself. In my eyes, this is the single most satisfying ability to use, especially in Kirby's Fun Pack. In that game, Hammer is just so overpowered, and there are many moves given to it. In the remake, there is even a Meta Knight style hammer-on-hammer fight with King Dedede, equipped with a snazzy new mask, might I add. Some blocks can only be destroyed with Hammer, making it essential for getting 100% in most of the Puffballs games. Even in the Smash Bros series, Hammer carries incredible weight and is satisfying to use. Single most iconic ability as well. Hammer is just so good. What could possibly beat it? Before we get to number 1, let's have a recap. Number 20, Captain Falcon. Number 19, Fire. Number 18, Sleep. Number 17, Parasail. Number 16, Cook. Number 15, Paint. Number 14, Tornado. Number 13, Beam. Number 12, Rob. Number 11, Exploding Snowman. Number 10, UFO. Number 9, Suplex. Number 8, Smash. Number 7, Thunderbomb. Number 6, Sword. Number 5, Laser. Number 4, Wheel. Number 3, Refrigerator. And number 2, Hammer. And the awards for the most underrated ability, the ability with the most potential for playing around, and the best ability in general go to Ghost. I just don't get it. Why the hell does Ghost not get more credit? It's just the best. I would say something like, it was a close one, but I'm gonna have to give it to... But Ghost ability completely blows every other one out of the water. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Ghost ability only appears in Kirby Mouse Attack, and you can only get it at the end of the game, or after you've collected all the Ghost medals. When you do get it, you're given the ability to possess any enemy in the game and control them. That's pretty much it. Ghost ability. Every enemy has a unique way of controlling, and even enemies like Wheelie don't control exactly like Wheel Kirby. There are a lot of different enemies in Mouse Attack, and to say they all control differently, that's a lot of experimenting you're going to be doing. Ever wanted to be a penguin, a bouncy thing, a throw bunny, a fish, a sword knight, and best of them all, a Waddle Dee that dies as soon as it hits anything? Yes, you only get this ability at the end of the game, making it kind of redundant, but it made me want to complete the game again just using Ghost. And I did, and it was so fun. If I'm honest here, this wasn't a close battle. It is by far the greatest ability in Kirby history. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. You also might want to check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and of course go to our website, 8bitlemon.co.uk. We just had a Metroid month on the website, so there's loads of Metroid reviews and countdowns there. So go check them out.